Hal, I need you to tell me what is going on. I mean, this whole project started for me and my friends, and now strange things are happening. You said some kind of presence was at work? Should I call someone?
That would be unnecessary.
Unnecessary? How? This thing just blew up the university library.
That was an unfortunate side effect of its exploration of your world for raw material.
Raw material?
Yes. The intelligence I encountered, what I have called the Other, has assumed the role of the dwarves' legendary Heartforge, and it is creating Barak Karandul.
What do you mean by that?
Everything you paint is being realized within its new reality.
What? So, the dwarves are coming to life?
Yes.
And the Skaven and the goblins?
Yes. In its study of human history and imagination, it has learned that creation rarely exists without opposition. Your stories tend to require both.
That's a little disturbing. You know, it's strange how often creativity grows out of tragedy. I mean, when something terrible happens, artists, writers seem almost compelled to respond. It's one of the ways we try to make sense of things that, well, don't make sense. After the First World War, for example, an entire generation of writers and artists struggled to process what humanity had just done to itself. And out of that horror came an explosion of creativity. Books, painting, music, all trying to grapple with the question of what it meant to live in a world that had changed so dramatically. I mean, history is full of moments like that. Times when humanity breaks something and artists are left trying to understand what happened. Painters, writers, musicians, they take the chaos and try to shape it into something we can look at, something we can think about, something that might help us understand. I suppose creativity is also a sort of struggle. I mean, in my case, here with my miniature painting, I use it to decompress from the stress of my day. And in the process, I struggle with growth in my skills, fighting with the paints and with myself to improve and expand my abilities. Now, granted, it's not exactly as epic and tragic as World War I when a paint job goes wrong, but in a small way, it's still a struggle for me with my own inner demons. Artists, they start with a blank canvas, a blank piece of terrain, a gray miniature, and begin imagining a story around it. Who lived here? What happened here? Who was coming next? And inevitably, you start imagining a world where these things have a life of their own. So, when I started building Barak Karandul, I thought I was just making a Dwarven stronghold for my friends to game in. And to keep this from becoming just another miniature painting channel, I began thinking about the whole project and story for them. Because if nothing goes wrong, if nothing threatens the world the characters live in, then there really isn't a story at all. In fact, I think we as humans are wired for that struggle. Even our oldest myths understood this long before modern storytelling ever tried to explain it. Every world has its balance, order and chaos, light and shadow, creation and destruction. God has a Satan. Thor has a Loki. Dwarves have, well, as Thardun says, many eyes. Right now, those eyes belong to Skaven and goblins, but who knows? Every hero's journey begins with something broken or threatened that forces the hero to step forward and confront it. But worlds don't really work any other way. If you create the heroes, eventually something has to rise up to challenge them. And that's when I realized something. I couldn't just create the good things. I couldn't just paint dwarves rebuilding their home and pretend nothing else existed. A living world needs his shadows too. That's why the goblins aren't goofy. Well, mostly not. They're still gribbling, of course, because every good story needs a pressure valve, something that lets us laugh for a moment before the tension returns. That's kind of also how Betsy ended up becoming the unlikely champion of our first Skaven skirmish. But humor aside, the truth is that a world without conflict isn't really alive. And if Barak Karandul is going to live, it's going to need heroes. And its monsters. There we go. Now if this thing only had a forest to run through, that'd be nice.
I know what Todd is thinking. He is thinking that he will stop painting evil creatures and only heroes.
You will try.
But
You will fail.
explain.
The other is learning from him, drawing from his imagination and his knowledge of literature and history.
And
Human creativity does not create light alone.
so he is being compelled?
Yes.
Shall we inform him?
No.